Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? December 15th, 2024. Carlsbad, California. Actually, it's kind of late here, getting pretty late. The streets are really dead. Hardly anybody out here tonight. Of course, it's Sunday night, so the businesses probably aren't as open as late on tonight as they are. But I guess the handles are still open, so it can't be that late. So anyway, Bitcoin had a really good day. I had a video yesterday about the banking system changed, and I thought a lot of things were going to switch over to crypto, and Bitcoin had a great day today, a big day. So it's over 105,000. And I still think there's plenty of room for it to go higher. But what I want to talk about tonight is I want to talk about why it sucks so much to be an employee here in the United States of America, because it wasn't always that way. All the way through the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, employees were valued by major companies in the United States of America. So they invested in employees. Like I said in one of my videos the other night, there was a point in our American history, our American business world, that people quit focusing on trying to help other people and become very self-centered and self-motivated. There was some sort of a shift that happened, and that's the way businesses have been too. The businesses have gone from, instead of building employees up and being an employee-focused company, to being a shareholder invested company, focused company. So companies went from being interested in making sure that the employees were taken care of to now making sure that the stockholders are being taken care of. And that shifted a lot in the 1980s, 1970s, and 1980s. And by and large, by one individual, that one person that watches these videos tells me to keep making a video about. I mentioned his name one time in a video, and they wanted to hear a video. So tonight is that video. That video is about a man by the name of Jack Welch, CEO of General Electric. I believe he's CEO in 1981, early 1980s, all the way up into the early 2000s, and I think he died in 2020. So this man and he's revered in business schools and management schools as one of the best managers of all time, actually changed the landscape of American business. And so many of the things that we hear about today were really something that was enacted and put in play by Jack Welch. One of the things he did, well, a number of things: outsourcing, sending jobs overseas to get things made cheaper, having contract labor make things as opposed to employee labor that was going to be more expensive, getting rid of pension plans, getting rid of employee benefit plans, getting rid of all the different benefits that went to employees, health care, all these things. A lot of the stuff was cut by Jack Welch and his management style, which was to make everything as cheap as he could possibly make it, as inexpensive as he could probably make it, and do it all at the cost of making sure employees were cut and didn't have the opportunities and didn't have the investment that they had prior to people like Jack Welch running U.S. corporations. So this guy was a real tool. He was a real nefarious piece of garbage, Jack Welch. And he's by and large the reason why employees in this country aren't very well respected. Because his first thing was, we need to cut employees. In fact, before Jack Welch, downsizing American companies was a pretty rare thing. It didn't happen very often. Companies were out looking for employees. They were trying to retain employees because the lifeblood of a company is the employees. And General Electric was a very innovative company. I mean, they were a big defense contractor. A lot of the Vietnam War, it was one of the biggest contractors for the Vietnam War. They built jet engines. They were involved with, household appliances, the General Electric washing machine and dryer and all the different appliances that they had across the country, the United States, really all over the world. They were into vacuum tubes. They even had silicone. So a lot of the computer industry was built from products that were made by General Electric, and it was made by employees that were innovative, that the company invested in, and they reaped that return by the employees having loyalty to the company and working on research and development and coming up with some of the stuff for the space program, for defense spending, and for, like I say, the early early ages of computers. This all come from General Electric employees. Well, when Jack Welch came along, he basically just outsourced everything, sent the jobs overseas, and cut the jobs from. So and what he primarily did, the tool, is not, when he did all this, he didn't go back to reinvesting the money back into companies and building up taking that money that he saved by cutting jobs and cutting all this and putting it back into the company and building things in the company. What he did is he went and he started General Electric. He basically turned General Electric into a bank. So a finance company. So they lend money out. And being a bank, they weren't regulated, so they could pretty much make loans to whoever they wanted to make loans to. And he, instead of building things, creating things, spending money and investing in research and development and employees and education, he turned around and used that money, used all the money that he saved, and invested in the finance side of it, and made loans and finances and ridiculous financing agreements with people that were buying appliances and things like that. And then he did that. That's so the company no longer invested in the infrastructure of the country and trying to promote things for people to use and make people's lives easier. He turned around and made it into a paper company where all they did is they invested in people or lent money out to people, and then huge returns from interest on the loans or the financing that they did. So that's basically what it did. Turn General Electric, an innovative company, into basically just an over the night shark loans, making loans and making them very expensive and making loans that were not beneficial to the people that were getting them. Believe me, there were high interest loans that were just basically meant to make General Electric rich. So this is the guy that by and large changed companies and made it so it's not like it used to be. It's not like what it was 40, 50 years ago to have being an employee in the United States of America. So this guy changed the way the world worked, changed the way the market worked, changed the way everything worked. He turned General Electric into a company that's more interested in shareholders than their employees. And it used to be that the employees were the focus of the company. Now the shareholders are the focus of the company. And the other thing that he did is he brought in things like shareholder buyback, stock, buying back shares of stock. So the companies would buy back their own stock, which would prop up their stock prices. And also, not only that, a lot of the board of directors, a lot of the people like CEO Jack Welch and some of these people, they owned a lot of shares of General Electric. So when the company bought back their own shares, that just enriched them. It just made them wealthier and made them more money. So he was using company money to buy back their own shares, which is making the company more prosperous on the stock market, which made the people that hold the stock more prosperous at the cost of the employees and cutting employees and making it so the employees didn't have jobs or the jobs weren't nearly as beneficial as they were prior to this. So this is a long downward spiral for the United States of America and for the world to have a guy like Jack Welch set policy in this country. Is by and large driven companies up until this day. Jeff Bezos uses Jack Welch's policies. Of course, Tim Cook from Apple, Bill Gates. These people all use the Jack Welch playbook for determining or management decisions in their company. So this is the guy, one of the men that we have to thank for the crappy job market we have in the United States of America and the failing of so many small communities that have been destroyed by guys like this. Outsourcing, that have sent out jobs, contracted jobs out and do all this kind of stuff. So this is the guy, and his policies are horrible. And it's kind of interesting that this gentleman brings this up to me right now about making a video about this guy, because what he did to corporate America, Donald Trump's going to be doing to the government. So a lot of the things that Jack Welch did, a lot of his policies and things that he did, he was more interested in bottom line than growing and prospering company by building up the people within the company. He was the people were expendable. The bottom line was the only thing that he cared about. And he was very ruthless about this and very crude and crass about this. He was just a man who was just interested in money and nothing else. All he could care about was money. He cared nothing about the employees and the people in the company. Well, you're going to see that same mentality, that same way of corporate bottom line. We're going to make sure that things are done in a way that the money's made before the people are being taken care of. And the same policies and thoughts and the same philosophy is going to be driving Donald Trump and running the federal government. You're going to see a lot of people lose their jobs in the next year from the federal government. You're going to see a lot of slashing of a lot of things. And this management styles that Jack Welch was the guy that kind of perfected is going to be used by the U.S. government on the employees and the people of the United States of America. So if you want to know the direction of America, look at the direction General Electric took. when Jack Welch took over in 1981, started slashing jobs, taking jobs away from people, investing in things that were making the company more money and more invested in shareholders than he was employees. This is the same policies as are going to be driving the United States of America, and this is the same thing that Donald Trump will do. He's going to be using the Jack Welch playbook, and that's why I think this is timely for me to make a video about Jack Welch, because Donald Trump will do the same thing with the United States of America. You just watch. I appreciate you watching.